Hey everyone, my name is Chris Lambert, and on today's video, I wanted to explain real fast that there's an issue with Kanye's lyrics on Puppet. You may have listened to the song from Tyler the Creator's new album, Igor, the eighth track, and been excited to hear Kanye, and then been like, I can't fucking hear Kanye. His voice is buried in the production, and he sounds really far away from the microphone. So a lot of people have had issues clearly identifying what he said. And in such a case, where do you turn when you want lyrics? You probably go to Genius. But then the Genius lyrics, if you read them, can make no fucking sense. You're just like, did Kanye say that? I saw some people speculate that it's more the unfinished style that we hear when Kanye raps on songs that are early releases or that kind of leak. You kind of hear Kanye going like, na 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 na, bow da da da, I'm gonna go and do this and do na 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 na. So maybe that's part of what he's doing here, and it's just more of an unfinished verse that didn't get polished. But I think that buried in the production, which could have been a choice by Tyler, and I have a whole theory on why he would make that choice. Uh, but regardless of if he made it consciously or if it's just a problem with production, it's hard to hear what Kanye said. And when you go to Genius, you get this, but when you go to Apple Music, you get a completely different thing. So Apple Music, Lost Son right away versus You Lost Son. Small difference, but still a difference. And you've been trying to find your way to me. And you've been trying to find your way to me. A to me versus A to B. Doing something that I hate to see versus he's on something that I hate to see. Again, similar, but still different. Especially as people are trying to figure out what's being said and why it's being said. Doing something that I hate to see makes much more sense to me than he's on something that I hate to see. Either way, it kind of seems to refer to the fact that Tyler's been involved in a situation that Kanye's just like, that's a shame. Like, stop doing that. Don't do that. Which would be this relationship that's been driving Tyler crazy as he can't. The guy that he's seeing won't commit to him. And Tyler's just like, will you please let me know where we stand? Like, are you with me? Are you with this girl? And he's getting pissed off. So Kanye, he's on something I hate to see or doing something that I hate to see. A to Z, nah, son, I'm on a take a breather versus A to Z, nah, son, I'm gonna take a breathe. Both of those are kind of different. I'm on a take a breather seems a suggestion of, yeah, you should take a breather, relax. Versus I'm gonna take a breathe is something that Kanye himself would be doing. So it's advice versus declaration. And I think advice is the more likely scenario in this case. And then runathon kind of makes no sense to me versus Corazon, which absolutely makes no sense to me. And then not just nothing, I'm gonna take the plea. I have no fucking idea what that means. Versus I just nothing. I'm gonna take the breathe. Again, I'm gonna take the breathe. What? Why? Why, man? Why? Anna, first light the weed versus you're an Odyssey. First light the weed? You're an Odyssey? Oh my god, that's so. So while it starts very similar, you're like, not a big deal. By the time we get to the end of the verse, it's just like, what the fuck? How did two people arrive at this? And I can imagine one of you or some of you are sitting there going, Chris. Genius is a crowd-sourced platform. It's just random people doing the best they can to write the lyrics. Of course, there are going to be some issues with it. I get that. And you may also be saying, Chris, don't you complain about Genius all the time? That's also very true. I do. They get lyrics wrong. They mess up on grammar, which can cause problems with how people interpret lines. There's annotations that are just bizarre and infuriate me. I do complain about Genius a lot, even though they're a huge part of, or a huge resource for our podcast. Though a lot of the time we're just bitching and complaining about some of the stuff that they have in there. So yeah, you may think that Apple Music has it more right than Genius until I present to you Exhibit A. Exhibit A. Tyler the Creator just the other day said, yo, Apple Music, I don't know who is transcribing the lyrics for y'all, but what if they didn't do it if they weren't 100% sure what was being said to avoid being incorrect? That's a good question. I could have hit y'all on the side, but wanted the public to know some lyrics aren't right. I'll send correct ones soon. And yeah, there are parts throughout the album where I listened to it and compared Genius and Apple. And there's sometimes Genius is right and Apple's just like, how the fuck? And there are other times that Apple's right and Genius is just so wrong that I laugh and then cry. So in this case, I don't know who's right or who's wrong. I think uh, Apple, for the most part, on the first two lines, as I try to find the tab again, is more accurate, but first three lines? Yeah, first three lines. But that Corazon, not just nothing, I'm going to take the plea. Um, I don't know. Not sure what's going on there. That's a wait and see. So, you know, if you've listened to Puppet and you don't plan on listening to Igor again, I guess this doesn't bother you. If you've been listening to Igor a lot and you plan on keeping it in rotation, just know that these lyrics are probably going to be updated at some point and we'll get what's actually being said. At which point I'll make another video which we can go over. And then I think I'm going to do a video tomorrow just kind of explaining Kanye's lyrics on Puppet. And in case you're curious about what role he's playing and why he's saying the things that he's saying. The short of it is that he's kind of the Jiminy Cricket that's helping Tyler, the Creator, who's a puppet in this song, come to his senses and move on. The same way Jiminy Cricket was the conscience for Pinocchio. So maybe I don't have to make the video because that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it. But I'll go over the specifics and how I arrived at that conclusion and the separate video. So I hope this helped. And if you're enjoying the channel and want to help us, the easiest way is just to like and subscribe, comment. Any of those things lets YouTube know that this is content people are engaging with and watching and enjoying. And then they show it to more people. We get a few more bucks, and that's nice. Until the next video, I hope you stay wavy, keep it loopy, and we shall talk soon. Now I have to click.